So, 4 rotors, Corvette. Today we're going to be building rotary engines with Mike Vargas. Dun, dun, dun. I wanted to just imagine for a moment what it would be like if we were building a 4-rotor. So obviously we're missing a few other pieces, but this is going to turn into 2 engines. We have plates and housings for the S15 13B getting prepped for powder coating, and in front of us are the 13B setup for the Street FC, which these are the rotors for the S15. But this is gonna be my very first time building an engine with Mike. I'm very excited.
It's crazy. It's been, I mean, we're doing stuff together for like the past 2 years.
I know.
We haven't built one yet.
Well, you've been saving the 3-rotor car, and then we've taken apart the old FC engine.
Yeah, we've just been working on the old Cali stuff, and I'm getting that right.
This is going to be the most baller 13B engine that I've ever had, the one for the S15. The Street FC is also going to be super baller, just not as cool as the S15 one. But this is going to be my first time like properly going through an engine build with Mike, and I'm super stoked. Our S15 rotors are much higher compression, so you can tell by the divot. So the less of an indentation, the higher the compression. And I think these are S4.
Yeah, they're
S4 higher ones, yeah.
These weigh 4278. These are 4579. This motor-wise is going to go on the street car. So we have slightly higher compression, but not too much where it's going to be an issue with pump gas, because this is going to be more like a daily car than anything. So the rotors are like slightly heavier. You'll take off easier. It'll be like a little bit more low end, like for drivability. Lighter rotors and lighter flywheels and stuff, you kind of, they have more acceleration, but they're more for track, like quick revving, stuff like that. So the lighter rotors are for the S15, just for the quick revs and quick acceleration.
Rotors for the S15 have been clearanced on the side, which I didn't know about this before you mentioned it, which is pretty cool. So at higher RPM, it won't hit the plate if it starts to wobble a little bit.
Yeah, so there's high RPM, high heat, metals expand. So you clearance the sides of it, shave off a little bit. So right now, overall has 10,000 shave off on the top and 5 on this side over here. So it's double step. So as the rotor spins, the longer part of it is obviously going to reach more when the shaft flexes, because there's no center bearing support with the shaft. There's a front bearing, rear bearing, the middle is just hanging there. So on high RPM, you will have it deflect a little bit, and when the shaft deflects, it'll bring the rotor with it, so you clearance it. So we did this mod on the S15 motor because it's going to be living at high RPMs more. This can rev to 11,000, no problem.
And then another big difference is for the S15 engine, it's getting all the fancy parts, and this is my very first time that I've ever bought brand new plates. This even has a brand new sensor in there, and Vargas advised me to get these. One of the biggest differences is this dowel area. This is the thick dowel area plate. Yes. They both are actually.
So this is what keeps the engine in place, and it's an oil passage also. So on turbo engines from SCs, this is half the thickness. And what happens is around 350 horsepower, they'll crack and they'll start leaking oil everywhere. Right here, S5 thick dowel are an upgrade. It pretty much converts a T2 engine into an REW in strength.
The rear plate on the Street FC is the bigger dowel size, but the S15 is getting 2 brand new ones with the thicker dowel. So I'm not doing any oversized studding on either of them, but this is like more protection for that, right?
Yeah, compared to the studs and the machine work and stuff like that, like this is gonna be like more reliable.
I did get upgraded ARP studs.
This is gonna be the street car stuff. That's the S15 stuff.
This has more OEM stuff,
yes,
right? So we're using more like OEM Mazda seals.
Yeah, so those springs OEM from Mazda on that side over there, they take high temperatures and abuse better, so the springs have less of a chance of collapsing or anything like that. When you're running high boost, E85, all that stuff, I like to use all OEM Mazda springs. These has aftermarket ones, and we still have like some OEM ones here and there. And there's not going to be anything wrong with this one, but we're just not building this engine to the amount of horsepower we're going to do the S15.
And it's not going to rev as high.
Yeah, this is just going to be super reliable, like 400 horsepower, you know, pump gas like setup, and it'll be faster in the Datsun.
Hey. Yeah, I also have to like catch up on my rotary game here. Adam is catching up to me real fast. He actually has more rotary cars than I do now, and now he's all about them. And he's trying to get more.
Both cars are going to have OEM corner seals. I like using the OEM ones because they do hold better compression than the aftermarket ones. The Apex Seal springs, they tend to go flat a lot on aftermarket ones, so we're using OEM Apex Seal springs also to avoid that issue. So both of them are going to have the upgraded springs on the Apex Seals. Apex Seals for both of them. Through the years I've used Rotary Aviation. They don't bend. They're harder. You just got to premix more.
So on both engines, the gears have been upgraded though.
Yeah.
So we're doing FD gears instead of FC gears, which I didn't even know there's this big of a difference until you explained it earlier.
So FC gears have one feed of oil. That's the only source of oil to feed the whole crank.
And then these have multiple holes, a single one where it goes through, but it gets distributed through all the channels with multiple holes there, and a stud so that it can't spin.
So this one feeds from one side and it tries to force it around. This one feeds 360 degrees, so it has 3 holes on each side and the feed. So it's a 6 window bearing. This gear, the teeth are not hardened the way that these teeth are. So these gears will take high RPM better. This will probably hit like 9,000 and explode. These won't. These are interchangeable. A lot of all the 13B stuff like interchanges with each other. So even though these are from a 93 RX-7 engine, they'll fit an FC engine with no mod. So we have one overly built engine and one like nicely built engine.
And that's gonna be the one that's like, the S15 it's a primarily a drift car, and DCT. Like that car is gonna have so much abuse just going through every square inch of it, and that's the one we really wanted to overbuild as much as possible, and I'm really excited to start stacking these.
Especially since the DCT is gonna keep it with the short ratio, is gonna keep it like high RPM constantly.
I'm super excited to start stacking some Doritos. We're gonna be documenting as much of the process as possible. The very first thing that we're going to jump into first is building the Street FC rotors. I'm going to be building the S15 rotors, which I was a little nervous about because it's the bougie engine, but Mike said this will actually be a little bit easier, especially for the side seals, because I won't need to cut that much off of these. These are the Mazda OEM ones, and now they're everywhere. Yep. Doing great, I'm good, Vargas. I'm good, everything's fine. So these are actually closer to the length that they're supposed to be, so it won't require as much clearancing. And then on the FC rotors, he's gonna have to cut a lot more off, which can be risky, because if you overdo it, well, we don't have extra.
This much is overhanging on the aftermarket ones, and then the OEM ones, some of them you might not even have to touch up.
We're gonna start with side seals, and then what the order after that? Side, then corner.
So first will be the oil rings, corner seals, and then the side seals.
All right, so we have the oil control, springs, rings, the corner seals, the springs and the seals, and then our springs and our side seals. Let's build some rotors, Vargas.
Yeah, you make a lot of money on that.
Wait, ooh, ASMR rotary building.
I was actually thinking that before we even filmed it. I should have said something.
Okay, that's enough.
That one you need more pressure.
I got this.
So I get them close enough to where I can finish them by hand, because they overhang a lot. So that saves like 10 minutes of scratching. rotary end, so pretty much you gotta get it to 2000 and see it won't go in. So it's too tight. So I just bring it out
3,000.
2000 and put it back in and then check again. Once it goes in, put the feeler gauge in and it doesn't touch. That's the clearance we need. So as you can see, it's like it doesn't wiggle and it goes in and out. So you always make sure it goes in and out, because once you put it in the motor, it's gonna compress it all the way here. So you always make sure it doesn't get stuck.
Some ASMR of us.
People paid to hear ASMR from Vargas. Sure goes in and out, and sometimes it does sound like mayonnaise. That's
Can you
it.
do that one more time? I'm currently working on my second side seal, and Vargas is done.
Yeah, and
With
I took a couple breaks.
Yeah. This is stressful. It's because it's the S1512 that I'm freaking out more. So like every time I go to make it smaller, I'm like 1, 2, 1, 2.
There's wiggle room. It's from
Okay.
2 to 4,000.
See, you didn't tell me there was a wiggle room. Okay.
There's wiggle room.
I didn't know there was wiggle room. I thought it had to be 2000s. Yeah, still on rotor 1. It's stacking time.
Yep.
Adam's hogging the real engine stand.
Yeah, the stands with the 4 rotor. So this is how you do it at the drag strip. Pretty much an old-fashioned Vargas bucket build. So it's easy to put in the trailer. When you flip the engine, all the oil, coolant, and everything actually dumps into the bucket.
Take notes.
Pretty much fits perfect there. And this will be the first plate that we're gonna use.
I like how he's like, places on bucket. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. There
It won't fall there.
All right.
It's like a strap. He's like, it ain't going nowhere.
You have to say that though, otherwise it will go somewhere.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
You know,
perfect.
peanut butter jelly sandwich. You're just stacking it up.
With some grease in there. Grease
Yeah.
and the jelly.
All right, come on. I'm gonna show you my favorite part.
I know where this is going.
We gotta lubricate this, but you gotta record but not look at me in the eyes.
The Rotary community needs to know your type.
You don't want to overdo it like too much, you know, obviously because it'll be sus. But you just like lubricate it enough. Pretty much lubing up the shaft
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty
As
much.
you do.
Moving the shaft.
So it's got fresh bearings. So
We're
obviously,
literally 12. We're literally 12 years old.
Lube them up a little bit for first crank so it doesn't start dry.
Let's do this.
So line up the dowel pin down there. Line up this one right here. And let's squeeze the apex seals in. And you write it down, but it helps if you do it the right way, which is this way. All right. And then we get a little screwdriver and you set the springs in place. You push on the spring and set it.
You can hear
And
it. You can hear that.
yeah.
Like,
So it goes out this way, right here, facing the spring to keep the spring from coming out.
but the only snap you hear is that first press down of
When
the
it goes
spring.
like,
Need more lube.
you pull it out a little bit. For the next plate, you have to actually have this lifted, work the plate in, and then you put the shaft in.
Hey, can you say the rest of the instructions in a whispered ASMR voice?
We need 12 mil, so I'm gonna go get that.
The rest of this video is just ASMR.
Side to side.
On it anyway.
Yep, you just
Wait.
blast it with an impact. Check compression on the stand after you tighten it. So we're about to check compression, so you pretty much spin it like regular. That's 1. That's 2. 3. 4. 5. 6.
I didn't know how he was counting or what, like, the method in which he was counting because that was stressing me out.
Dang.
Success!
You make sure it builds compression, it has compression on all 6 faces of the rotor, and then you can keep on putting it together because it's good.
Hey, can you do a few more of those sounds, ASMR? Yeah. I'm just such a good rotary dude.
Oh my god.
Is that where it's going, right?
Good job. Thanks. Thanks for the knowledge. Holy crap. So
Finally.
close.
A decent 13B.
Decent. Come on, now give us more than decent. Decent? Look at this beauty. Actually, you know
Well, it's
what?
better than the motor that was in Sailor 7, though.
Oh my gosh, Sailor 7.
That's what I mean by decent.
Sailor 7 is rotting outside right now. Got that G-Technet quick
Plug.
detailer. Let's go. We used our G-Technet bucket this entire time. Real good quality. Okay, so Street RX-7 FC 13B officially built. We do have one more 13B that we need to build for the S15. I don't want to build that thing on my own, and we really don't need to have it built right this second. We have our mock-up engine that's currently in the car, and there's still so much that needs to get done on that build. So we're gonna have Vargas come out. Whenever we get to the point where we actually need the engine and the S15, he'll come back out, and then I'm just gonna finish up the rotors, and we'll have those ready to go. So then when we come back, all you have to do is porting, and then I need to powder coat the S15 engine, and then we're good.
You can powder coat it before I port it. It doesn't matter. Powder coat it, then when I come, we just pour it in, assemble it.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Now, honestly, I'm gonna have way more motivation to get the street FC running first.
That's the closest car I have ready right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think this one's gonna be running a lot sooner now, maybe in the next few weeks. And I'm way more motivated. We have like the whole heart right here. So just need to put in some more work and then we'll get that thing running soon. So thank you, Mike. Appreciate it. Keep sharing your Rotary knowledge and keeping Rotaries alive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.